We're going to talk today, as Carla just mentioned, about this idea of reclaiming your life. And for those of you who may not know us, I'm Cam.
Oh, yeah. I'm Carla.
Cam and Carla. And we've been doing coaching and healing work type stuff for 7 years now in the online space.
Executive coaching and consulting for the last 7 years.
Yeah. And my side of it's always been like marketing and business. Carla's somatic healing. She's a breathwork practitioner, a somatic healer of the highest order. And so this conversation is coming in the context of we wanted to share the story of what's occurred for us and share some of the lessons and the insights and give you guys an opportunity to apply it to your own lives. This is structured as more of a conversation than a presentation or a class, but we do have some interactive stuff that we want to offer you guys for us to be able to do together. And we wanted to
pause, which means if you do not have some kind of writing utensil and journal or paper,
get your utensils
or a computer where you are typing digitally, that is fine too. Just later, handwrite it.
Yeah.
I'll explain why later. But basically some way to actually do some of this, because even if you're not neurospicy, the best way to learn is not actually to do it and learn, but to actually do it through play or very interactive things.
Yep. Exactly. So we're going to try and keep this to about an hour.
Oh, which also means if you are able, we would love to see your faces.
Yeah. If you have Thea already told me that to be off camera.
Oh, that's right.
But if you have a face and a camera, as do we, then
we would love to see your faces. Okay. So we're going to dive in because it's time. And I know there's quite a few messages. Okay.
So we chose this theme of reclaim your life. And an early iteration of this idea was this idea of coming out of the wilderness. We moved from California to Tennessee in 2021. At the same time, there's a whole story that we're going to get into. And in the past few years, we've been in the wilderness. You probably saw, and some of you might be here because of the post that I made about how we're moving to Uruguay at the end of this year. And that's not new to us. Making big leaps of faith is not new. In 2018, that was really like the first time we did this as a couple. We sold all of our stuff. We broke our apartment lease and started living as nomads. Spent some time in Greece, the UK, a couple other places. And from the outside in, it looked like we were living the dream. And we were. And also, it was our first experience of the wilderness in this sense. You make a big leap of faith. Hey, Rachel. You make this big leap of faith, and it's amazing. And it's like everything that you thought it would be, and also you're lost because you just made this big leap into something new.
At the same, like what he's mentioning, this is like how life is, right? But we want to center around a few points, and it will make a little bit more sense as we move on, because right now we want to share a little bit more, bring you into a little bit of the story, the experience, so that you can actually see a little bit of a peek around the corner. For those that love your like lists and bullet points, don't worry. I also have that as well, because I'm the list person. He's the like story person. So yes, both of those are in this experience as well. You do not have to be like, oh, okay, so they did this. I got you. But right now we're just going to dive into this story.
Yep.
Because storytelling is a thing that is across all cultures, across the entire world. And what they have found is the very act of storytelling, when you allow yourself to get into the mode of storytelling, like the days of old, your body, that's actually in and of itself an act of relaxation, of down-regulating your system. Because that consistent tone and hum and the melody and all of the different things of storytelling is so essential. So for Cam, when he was talking about this is for the entrepreneur, this is, oh, there's more people, my bad. This is, yes, it's for the entrepreneur, but I wanted to like bring in that no, it's also not. This is also a foundational principle that we don't always get, because we don't really have a culture of sitting around telling stories. We usually tell stories in a very stagnant way on social media. So we forget the transference. Or when we're trying to speak, I feel this a lot of times when I'm trying to speak with my children, or when I'm trying to instill in them how to make friends, just all different ways how life is about storytelling and resonating with another person.
Yeah.
For those that are like, I'm just by myself, I don't have kids, I don't have a husband, I also have really good news for you too. The number one indicator for good mental health, you can look this up. It's not a good family. It's not money. It's not all the things that it's not the impact of your job, all the things. They distilled it down to one thing: your ability to say hello to the strangers you walk by in your day-to-day life.
The ability to form connections.
When your spirit is just walking through your day-to-day life and you are able or work to be able to do this, actually take a moment to connect to a random soul. It does not have to be connected to you in any way. It could literally be a person you never see again. But the point is, they were there in the moment you also existed. The chance of that, the chance connection, that's the number one indicator. So that's why I'm like, yes, it's for entrepreneurs, but it's also a very intense thing that working in the locally in mental health facilities, I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Because I have exposure to a lot of really dope therapies.
Yeah.
So that makes it interesting.
Pretty wild. And that ability to create connections, the number one indicator of mental health, good mental health.
Technically, the study was basically like your indicator that you will survive in this world.
Nice.
But yes, technically, when I discovered it, we were talking about the most effective things for our mental health patients. So we were technically talking about for them that are very highly traumatized, but we then zoomed out to what do just people need? And so if you are in a good headspace, you're more apt to make
connections.
So, because there's so much awareness of trauma, of nervous systems, but at the same time, a lot of knowledge also clogs up our own knowing of what we need.
And in order to get to that place of understanding who you are and what you need, in our experience, there does have to be a breaking of sorts of belief systems that you've held. And so what Carla was just sharing around like storytelling and making connections, that was not always a way of being that either of us embodied. We had to go through multiple wildernesses. And so in the story of what we're sharing today, there have been multiple just core belief collapse moments where everything that you thought was true ceased to be true in a moment. If you've ever had that experience where you're headed in one trajectory and you're like, this is how things are in the world, this is how my life works, I would love to hear from you in the chat. If you've ever had a moment where there was like a big collapse or a big moment where something shifted and it changed everything after that. This will be relevant to what we're talking about later on with getting to the other side of the wilderness.
Yeah. So for me, like Cam was saying, wilderness, what does that actually mean? And so I want to give you guys a little bit of a snapshot. We became digital nomads and lived that dream, but at the same time, it was also a medical necessity. I was having to travel constantly for experimental medical treatments because I was a quote medical mystery. So I had lots of people wanting to experiment on me, but we weren't entrepreneurs. That's also where I'm like, this isn't just for entrepreneurs, folks. I know we're an established business and we're established entrepreneurs, but I want to make sure you guys know this is before we had even made that leap. Cam was having a core belief breakdown because he was taught that in order to be a good person, you had to what?
You gotta stay grateful, stay put, stay committed.
And
it was not something I would have ever done if I wasn't married to her.
Yes, because I had just gotten him to agree to literally selling everything, breaking our lease, and literally refusing to commit anywhere by becoming digital nomads, not just of the US, but out of the country too, like all over. Right.
Yeah.
So not only was he having his whole identity crisis, but we were also spending all of that money we just sold on ourselves instead of donating it, which for a good Christian boy
Or discounting or just not charging at all.
was its own kind of hell.
Yeah.
Not the focus of today, but just know that, yeah, there was that too.
But that kind of formed this context for in 2019, we did start our own business. And if you've ever had that experience of going from job to starting a business, it brings up a lot.
By the way, in the middle of crisis, so if you're like, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I'm waiting for the right time. And that was 2018. We started our business in 2019. 2018, we were going everywhere and spending a bunch of money on like medical treatments. Didn't even know if I was going to be alive the next year. Like, not exactly the best time to start up a business. You know what I mean?
Which is just proof that there's no good time.
There's no good time.
You just got to do it.
You just got to do it.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't have to be a business. It's whatever is that next thing for you. Because again, we weren't thinking we were starting a business either in this point in time, because this is us talking about our past 7 years later. So we didn't know it would be a business. It was a hope and a prayer and a piece of paper that we submitted so that we could have an LLC.
What happened in that process of us moving into like entrepreneurship for ourselves is that stretched my identity, it stretched her identity, it stretched us in ways that broke a lot of belief systems simultaneously, all at once. And so there was a lot of chaos. And yet at the same time, I'm embodying in this season, like, what does it look like to be a good man, a good provider, a good husband, a good entrepreneur? You work hard, you hustle, and you make as much as you can. And it worked. I was successful. We were making money. We were able to buy a house in 2020 and all the things. By 2024, our business had done over $1 million cumulatively. And yet that new constant like drive, got to be successful, got to be successful, got to be successful, got to make it happen no matter what the cost. That new constant success rate somehow still felt like torture.
And meant that constant drive to pursue the thing you think you don't have meant it was pouring right back out.
Exactly. And so by the time we got to 2021, we began to feel the call to move from California to Tennessee.
I also moved a lot of my local mental health work to online. So it was like, we had already been doing online work, obviously, but that's when I started coming more into the picture.
Big year. This is a big year because she had transitioned to online. We had everything had begun to be prepared for us. And that's the interesting thing about like making these big leaps is like the transformation is prepared in ways that you can't expect. And that's something to take note of is what am I being prepared for right now? You can't answer that question, but you can look around you and see there's a preparation process going. How can I be ready for it? How can I be open to it? How can I be open to something that just drops out of nowhere? Because in 2021, it dropped out of nowhere.
Yeah. Let me preface that. That sounds all great, but let me be real with you. It felt like I had to tell myself this mantra of that when shit gets real, you're about to have a great feast. When shit gets real, you're about to have a great feast. And I literally, there were days where I had to convince myself that it was worth it to live.
To get through the process.
To get through the process. And I don't say that lightly. Mental health, like bad.
People will tell you like you have to fall in love with the process. And there's so much wisdom in that in certain areas. And other times the process grinds you. And yet it is still necessary.
I don't like the love the process. I like to say find love while you're in the process.
Yeah. So in 2021, we were like, oh, we're going to move to Tennessee. Didn't necessarily expect that, but it's clear. Let's go. We listed our house, started getting everything ready, had gotten rid of half of our furniture when we became instant parents, just in the middle of it.
Yeah. From the decision to move to actually leaving the state 2 months.
2 months. Yeah, it was wild. And so we met someone who was looking to adopt out their child who had not yet been born. And that was on a Thursday. They were like, you're the people. This is who I want my baby to go to. She went into labor the next morning and our daughter Evelyn was born on Saturday. We were not trying to adopt. We weren't ready for this. We were at Target on Friday night getting a pack and play and a car seat so we could take the baby home. It was
I was literally
wild.
Googling, what do you need to be able to legally take a baby home from the hospital
Yeah.
as we were driving to the hospital?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you're also parents. And so as we're going through this process, obviously it's beautiful, it's crazy, it's miraculous. And at the same time, it was like, wow, this is intense. We're being ripped in half. Got to Nashville. Carly gets pregnant with our second within the first month we're there. And then so most of our time in Nashville has been like,
OBGYN is like, oh, geez, I guess you can get pregnant. So
Yeah.
became that statistic, adopt a baby, 2 months later, I am now pregnant.
yep. And so that's how we now have 2 kids who are 10 months apart. So most of the time in Nashville was like cultivating these new relationships. And
While also being a new mom of 2 babies.
yeah. And so it's like we're in the wilderness and also
Now we're in the wilderness
with 2 other people.
two babies that
Two
are
babies.
responsible. Like, we now need to know this wilderness because they rely on us to know this wilderness, but we just moved to a new wilderness.
Yeah. We don't know what's going on. No idea.
Oh,
We want to
other
get
thing.
to, there was a breaking point for us that came at Christmas 2024. And the growth that we'd experienced had made confrontation with my parents inevitable. And there's so much context there, but the moment for me where everything just shattered and I had to completely rebuild my identity as a person was the phone call I had with my dad where I was confronting him in his role as an elder at the church about some sexual abuse that he'd covered up. So it was that moment after that call, getting off of it, it was like there was a version of Cam that had walked into it and there was a version that walked out. And this one was going through massive, just like what Carla had described of I didn't have these basic skills anymore. And that happened to me in a different way. So I went through my own, just crashed out into a deep depression for most of 2025. And that was the fertile ground that seeds were being planted into, even though it did not feel like we were planting any seeds at all. It was like everything's destroyed. This is the end. That was like my lived experience, like day after day. And like we needed support. And we were simultaneously the least equipped we'd ever been to ask for it. Just closed off and released me emotionally. Like there was so much going on.
So, no, definitely not just for him.
Yeah.
For me, like, I did more of the female, like, I feel like more of a female sense where I simultaneously desperately wanted to be with my friends, but holding my phone, not knowing who to call. Because it was like there was so much. Where do I start? But it's also not that big of a deal. Why am I freaking out? My basic needs are met. Like it was a constant, like I was trying to therapize myself, which was keeping me from also reaching out. So I withdrew not from him, but like from my friends and all the things.
Yeah.
So by 2025, like our marriage was on life support because like I was my own silo of holy shit. He was his own part of me. Oh my gosh, all that here. He was in his own little silo.
Shack of shit.
Sorry, my words just squished all together.
Yep.
And I don't just mean we went through it and we are so great and we didn't need help. No, like individual therapy, marriage therapy, small groups, landmark. I went through all 3 levels of somatic parts work therapy certification. I kept going through intense levels of intensives to grow, yes, my knowledge, but then also to put myself in those therapies, to experience EMDR, to experience all different things. And what I was discovering, or I guess that and what literal therapists and experts were finally helping me to name, was that my experience was that all of it, my childhood, my teenage years, my young adult years, were not only valid, but actually far more than I even thought. I was assessed with a combined type of ADHD and autism. They explained that in 2019, the hospitalizations that I kept going into, I kept getting hospitalized in 2019 because my body kept going into autistic catatonia, where my body would literally forget how to function. So, like, I lost skills that I had relied upon my entire life. And for the longest time, I went through an identity crisis of, oh, I'm supposed to be doing everything. And then all of a sudden, I can't do anything. But I also grew up in a childhood where I was literally beaten if I couldn't do something. So that sheer terror of that scaffolding of everything I built so that I could be a viable human being, because that was beaten into me. Oh, graphic. It absolutely collapsed. And at the same time, experts were literally like, bruh, that scaffolding that you have held onto and have been built out of the sheer terror of your childhood is keeping that shit alive. Which is why knowing, yes, it's beautiful that scaffolding broke, but knowing that didn't make losing it any less devastating. I forgot how to boil an egg, guys. Like, I crashed the F out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot how to human.
And so while she's going through that, I'm going through my thing.
Yeah.
It's like we'd been through intense things before, but this became a crucible of immeasurable pressure on our relationship, on our life together. And from 2024 to 2025, we had a 56% revenue drop in the business. It just like trying to survive and just get through. And the crazy thing is, like, when I was like preparing for this presentation, I did the math and it said 56%. 56 is a number for me. I once talked to a coach who was like, you tend to take a to-do list and then pile it up of all the things you need to do before you can get to the thing that matters. It's like a 56 item to-do list. And it's like that side of 56 going super hard, super fast all the time. And it was called 56 Isles. And so I had this association with 56 as sitting on the coast, being at peace, present, beautiful beach, beautiful water, absorbing the moment. And so it was like this number 56 used to mean the collapse of everything piling on top of me and getting crushed. And now it means arrival. This was a process that we needed to go through to get to where we need to be in order to do what we've been called to do and to be the people that we're called to be. So we were both in the wilderness at the same time.
We had different paths going in. We had the same darkness. So since we were going through the same shit, we couldn't see that the other person was going through it because it looked the same. It looked like ours. So this is also a little bit of not a segue, but a little bit of asterisk of there's like a whole relationship, couples and sex therapy angle that like I do for like more of a women's only container that I would dive a little bit deeper into that of this is where marriage being a polarizing, or not marriage, but like relationship in general with two or more people, it's so polarizing that when you are walking in that same stuff, it won't notify. Your mirror neurons are not communicating it because it's the same. When we talk about, which is why we wanted to offer this free container and have people that from all over kind of meet, is why this is so important. Because as I'm sharing this and I am feeling different reactions, I'm sharing in a different way because it's for like you guys specifically, all of these different things, because it's a new person, different people, new experiences. It is doing something within me that I wanted to like mention of, oh, like in the thick of it, we thought our marriage was falling apart. Yeah. Okay. We thought we were not a power couple while everyone was asking us for marriage advice because we were.
Yeah. Very confusing experience.
Very confusing experience. Yeah. Our marriage therapist literally had us graduate from marriage therapy because
she was literally like, I don't know what you guys have to work on anymore. I'm like, we do.
But the thing, it's like containers where we just see each other and that's just it. We just get to be and see and experience. So we started tying this back in on why we wanted to share this through with you guys, because every single person is experiencing life, which means at some point in time, you've got to adult a little bit more, and a little bit of a childhood belief dies.
And it doesn't always want to.
And it doesn't always want to.
The pattern that has kept you safe
It's kept
through
you
all your
safe.
relationships, through all the things you've been through. As you grow, a necessary prerequisite to be able to say yes to the things that you really want to say yes to is that you have to do the process of picking up the pieces, examining them, and seeing what you want to keep and what is no longer serving you.
Which means acknowledging something that to myself, I barely can even say these words out loud. In order to pick up the pieces, you have to acknowledge that you're broken. You have to actually look at the very thing you don't want to acknowledge.
Yeah. That often is the hardest part.
That's the hardest part. We started to deconstruct this scaffolding, which we didn't realize was actually the scaffolding of our own individual silos, aka and of our marriage. So social scripts, parameters that extract from you an image of what it means to be an acceptable, like actually contributing human in society, adding on husband and wife and religious trauma, add on parenthood, fatherhood, motherhood in the age of everyone should know exactly what they need to do in order to be the best of everything, right? All of these different parameters and all of this expectations that collapsed. And yes, it was agonizing. We lost people, judged us. And at the same time, people were also in awe of us. In our darkest moment, we were the brightest light for others. I need to say that again for you guys. In your darkest moments, you are the brightest fucking light for somebody else. Okay? Every single one of you. I don't know every single one of your stories, and I'm so sorry that I don't know, because like then I could really speak into things specifically, but like, bruh. Okay. I actually don't have this in my script, but I need to say this. In this moment where our marriage was falling apart, right? But then our marriage therapist was like, no, it's not, right? Like all of this stuff, right? All of this stuff is happening. And I'm walking at a Nashville women's event and I get casted. I got cast. That's right. That's weird. I got cast to be in a show about relationships. Yeah. And they were like, hey, it would be even awesome if you could bring your husband. And I'm like, oh my God. I gave my husband an ultimatum about marriage. Like literally, I'm like, I have no right to talk about relationships. I am flipping out, but I'm like, I'm going to be real because that's how I am. So I'm like, this is going to be a kind of a shit episode. You realize, because
who knows what's going to happen here.
So we go in, we do the casting. There's a bunch of people because it's a bunch of different, it's like a whole show. So there's multiple segments, blah, blah, blah. And they pick ours as the highlight reel first one to do for the entire show.
Yeah.
By the way, do you remember what it's called?
Heart's Intention.
Did they? I thought they changed the name.
They did change it. I don't remember what they changed it to.
Yeah. So we had the link and then they changed the name of the show.
Well, fine.
So relationships that have high tension points. And we did not share to this level of depth there because we didn't even know half of what we know now. Not even. But I will never forget. So super embarrassing, right? I'm basically going on not live television, but it's going to go on to live. It is going to be seen by millions, about the fact that I'm a certified somatic parts work therapist and have been doing all of these things. And everyone thinks we are a powerful, strong couple. And I'm going on to this show and actually showing the real.
Yeah.
Which is my highest value. But like when it's
this season of our life.
In this season of our life, that was a little bit too real.
And that's something about that experience that I think is relevant to share, is that our highest value is like transparency, vulnerability, and sovereignty. That would be like our three. So highest values. And in this season of chaos and in the season of the wilderness, we felt the farthest away from those values. And yet we were being asked and called upon to demonstrate them, even while
Even though
that
we
was part
believed
of
we
the
had
wilderness.
failed ourselves
Yeah.
in those values.
That was part of what the wilderness was, is that we were out of alignment with our values. We weren't practicing them because for me,
We thought, and that's why I had to hide my face for a second. We thought we were failing at everything. And then the producer asked to do a thank you lunch for us after they had finished the editing and everything. But she had to prove there was interest first. And she obviously had to have the cast already. She had a bunch of requirements, right, in order for it to get picked up. And I went because I literally didn't know what to do. So I was like, let me just be around people. Remember the thing I first said at the very beginning? Being around random people in your, like, that's very essential. So I was like, that's why I went, because I was in my darkest moment. In my darkest moment, when I was trying to remind myself to live, I saved someone else's life. I helped their livelihood. Like, they actually got picked up by I don't see her very often because she now has to fly to LA. Like, she's got a book now. There's so many beautiful things. And I went to that event because I was struggling to live.
that's why it's like when you're in those moments,
That was a lot.
that intense darkness around you when you're in the wilderness, when everything that you relied upon is broken and doesn't work anymore.
But my light was still shining, because although the darkness was there, that has nothing to do with you.
The people in the back.
What you're going through, the shit, what you feel and what you think you know what's going on. No, I'm not saying doubt yourself, bro. No, we do that too much.
Yep.
Okay. What I'm saying is, careful how you label. Careful how you label, because sometimes what you think is dark is someone's light, because they don't even think they are capable of anything brighter.
Amen.
When I was a child, I had before marrying Cam, I had to get therapy so that I could handle his physical touch. Because physical touch, I was such a traumatized being that physical touch would literally make my body vomit. And I was like, how am I supposed to become one with my husband when I can't even handle touch? Which, for those that know me now, is super fucking weird, because like I'm super touchy feely and I'm like hugging you and I'm touching you, which is like weird when people from my childhood see me and they're like, like, it's just the whole thing. Yes, your perceived end is often an invitation to you and others. Rachel, thank you. We are going to send you a replay because this took way longer to share the story part. And I truly do have a gift for you guys to do. So I'll send that for those that had to hop off. I promise. Speaking of which, right? Like, obviously, we mentioned a lot of different things for those that need a list. We mentioned a lot of different things that helped us. Right? Us being around people, saying hi to random people in your actual area, local area. Very important. Very important. Small groups, being with groups of people that are sharing only one common center intention. Right? Cam learning to respond to his own triggers instead of recruiting me into his drama. Me learning that I can actually say, wait, hold up. What you just said was super not okay. I need to take care of myself first. The fire was returning for both of us, but it felt way different.
It didn't feel like the kind of jet fuel go super hard and then drop off immediately drive. It began to feel like more like a warm campfire, something that's sustainable, something that like can carry you rather than something that you manipulate into an action that you think you should take.
Yeah. And through my somatic work, what taught me about myself and others was we have been living in a world of construct your identity, that scaffolding as if you're a tree, and then attempt to move in time. What the? Okay. So for us, Uruguay's decision was about cutting those lines and being like, wait, I'm not a tree, I'm a ship.
Not a tree, I'm a ship.
But no, but like for reals though, the somatic work taught me that I had been trying to move through life in a way that my physical body couldn't. I was trying to move through life like a tree that had the same being every second of every time, which is not how it works. You are not one personality, you're multiple. And so it also taught me that yes, you can trust others.
I'm not a tree, I'm a ship. It's
Oh, it's
it's
covered.
covered up.
Well, I have a lighthouse and he has a ship because there are seasons. We use like the lighthouse and the ship because there are seasons of life where you are meant to be out in the water. And there are seasons of life where you're meant to be a lighthouse shining light for others. And so I wanted to give a little bit of context for those that might see us as a lighthouse, right? Being like, oh my gosh, bright light. Like, how are you guys doing this? What? Because I'm not going to lie, like, I've had 15 years of training, like actual legit experts, certifications, degree, like, right? Yes, I've done a lot of work, but it finally clicked into place that all of that work and learning was actually to bring me to this one point. My skills that I thought were gone actually exposed the power of myself that I had long buried. The whole journey was a big discovery of, at the end of it, it's a big forgetting, then a re-remembering, then a renewal. The work, whether it's copy, the marketing, the coaching, your life, your motherhood, parenthood, whatever, all of this, your work, that's not what's actually valuable. That's what you do, not who you are. Those are the containers where you get to experience this inner work like us. So I'm also not saying you have to do what we did exactly in order to do this inner work. When your mind and your body are united, that is where your business follows. That is where the coming to fruition, the things you are saying you're going towards come to fruition, because your mind doesn't exist in this present time. So if you are trying to construct something before you present it, it's already too late. Your body is already in the next moment. So nothing is wrong with you. If you've been in that wilderness, if you've felt lost, we're going to guide you through. How is everyone feeling? Because I'm wondering if you should do it as like a, are you guys feeling good of keep continuing? I just realized the time. Okay.
Here we go. So do I.
So since our mind does not exist in time, I just shared with you a bunch of information. Really valuable. And technically it was in story form, so you felt it. And yes, in a way, it will integrate in its own form. However, we can't access your real story, your real what makes you move, rather than being a tree stuck in the past. Dude, I don't know either. Seriously.
So relatable.
Sorry for those that were like, wait, Carla, why did you just agree with Brandy? Okay, so really quick, we were on a call once where we were in a really deep conversation, and then all of a sudden she was like, oh, and ran to her kitchen because they had forgotten to take the meat out of the freezer. So how do we actually do this for you? I know you're not like, even if you're not having a big decision, right? Because it's not about big decisions moving forward, all of those things. It's about how do you find that love, that bliss, those somatic, physical anchors to keep you loving life in the wilderness or wherever you are. There are times where you have to be radically accepting the fact that you are a ship lost at sea. Because once you acknowledge that you're lost at sea, you finally look up for the lighthouse and stop shaming yourself for the fact that you have to look up to a lighthouse.
Yeah.
So we're going to
With the
move
ship
through.
shaming itself for looking at a lighthouse. But we do that.
Yeah.
Shame ourselves for feeling like we need help. We need guidance. Like I should be able to figure this out on my own when we're not built like that.
Yeah. Now, let me show it to you the other way around. When you are the lighthouse and you're doing good work and everyone's, yes, go help the people. It's amazing. That's hypocritical. So you're not amazing for needing help, but you're amazing for wanting to help people. But you're not allowed to be people that need help.
Make it make sense.
Social scripts, scaffolding that is actually meant to break. So anyway, so this part of this framework for those that have experienced more of the businessy side of like how to actually use this in sales and marketing, we are using the personal why story element just for context, because what we're about to do can immediately be turned and actually done as a post and actually like bringing things in. We'll talk about that later, but this is not why we're doing this in this moment. I want to know your personal why for why you move through your day to day. We're not going big. We're not going vision. We're not going your ultimate, right? We can, but I don't think we have enough time. So we're just going to start a little smaller. So Cam's going to start us off.
Need the music.
Oh, whoops. I need to play the music first.
Yep.
Maybe. Everyone can hear.
All right, so
Sure.
if you are in a space where you can be relaxed, sitting down, laying down, notebook nearby, I want you to just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Close your eyes if you'd like, and start to bring your awareness to the top of your head. See if you can feel the point on the top, very top of your skull. And then we're going to continue this cadence of deep breathing, breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, inflating your belly like a balloon. And I want you to start bringing that awareness down. See if you can now feel your eyes, your nose, your lips, your chin, feeling your whole face, and letting that awareness drop down into your throat. Do a check-in with your throat. Does it feel tense? Does it feel tight? Is there any kind of energy that is sitting there? Another deep breath in. Now drop that awareness down into your shoulder. Roll your shoulders a little bit, back and forth.
For those of you that kind of feel a little bit of tightness and tension in any of those areas that he's mentioned, I want you to give yourself a moment to bring all of your awareness to that tension. And then contract that muscle, squeeze it out, squeeze that tension. All of your awareness to it. Whether it's in your shoulders, your back, your neck, your jaw, your butt, your legs, your feet, your fists. Squeeze, and then all at once, let it go.
Feel that part of your belly, underneath your ribcage, that's polar plexus. And dropping that awareness down. Breathing as we do. feel your hips. And you do some micro hip circles, feeling the energy that's there. Before dropping down into your thighs and quads, your knees. Let that awareness fall down your calves and your shins, down into your feet. And when you reach your feet, squish your toes and scrunch them in the ground beneath you. Really feel the ground beneath. We're now going to do 3 deep breaths. And then on 4th breath, we're going to hold at the top, exhale, and hold at the bottom. I will cue you as we go. So deep breath number 1. Exhale. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your body. Deep breath in. Exhale. Deep breath in. Now we're going to take a deep breath and hold at the top. Big inhale.
You hold your breath at the top, but as you're holding your breath, relax your body. Hold the breath, but relax the body. Drop the shoulders. Does your head feel in the center? Do your hips feel like it's actually holding that bubble of breath in your diaphragm? Does it feel like you can actually hold yourself in this moment?
And exhale.
Then as you release it, please hold that exhale, meaning push all the air out and hold it just a moment. Oh, your body tells you to take another breath before returning to your natural breath for just a moment. We are going to be asking some very specific questions. You will probably need to write it down, not the question down, but the response. I ask you not to transition out of breathing, or what I like to call breath awareness, which means as you're writing, being aware of where are you breathing.
Where do you feel the energy in your body?
Because remember, we're not stagnant people. We are not a tree. We are meant to connect with others. So for those that are wanting to not only be able to share themselves, but also in a way that actually furthers a business purpose, I want you to think about this question this way. What problem do you help people solve that you already solved for yourself? Not your I help statement. A problem, meaning a need, you know how to fill. A need you know how to fill for others because you had to do it for yourself. Because you had to do that for yourself. Obviously, you learned through others and all the things, so you had a story around it. Now, if you're like, but Carla, I don't have business, I don't do those things. This is a vital need for every being on the planet. You are a gift just by being. So there is an answer that you have for yourself too.
Yeah. In a business context, this isn't the thing you sell. It's the thing that people experience with you.
So just for the sake of a clear recording, what problem do you help people solve that you have already solved for yourself? Keeping in mind that problem, meaning in this context, means a need you know how to fill for others because you had to do that for yourself. I'm going to give everyone a little bit longer, and I'm going to turn up the music. I would like for you to wrap that final thought or feeling or whatever it is you have. For those that are like, no, I don't have anything at all, I'll give you a few examples for you to search for later at a later time. A need I know how to fill for others because I had to do it for myself. It's how to actually listen to truly know someone. I apply that to break generational curses with my children so that they are not afraid to be who they are, not afraid to cry if they need to cry, be upset if they need to be upset, and all the things. I'm an epic somatic therapist. I listen very well, and I will probably remember things that you forgot you even said and bring it up exactly when you need to hear it. But at the base of it, the need that I never had as a child was someone who just sat and listened, to know, and to truly connect. So I take that with every role. And yeah, I am known for being very happy to see random people on the street. Because for me, it's really exciting to be able to connect with people. Because I grew up in a cult. So I literally was not allowed to associate with people outside of the cult. So for me, it is an extra special gift. So for me, it doesn't need to be monetized. It doesn't need to be going anywhere specific. Obviously, in a bigger container, we would actually distill it way more down. But just wanted to give you an idea of, at the end of the day, when I am like, hey, I did absolutely nothing today. Did you feel the need of connection with someone else? Yes. You might have saved their life.
So from that journaling session, if you're live, if there's anything that came up for you that you want to share in the chat, an insight, something that surprised you.
Wait, let's do all of them and then do it after.
We'll be sharing after.
Yeah, share after.
All right, so the second question is, after we've gotten the context of the need that you know how to fill, what did it cost you to be able to know how to fill that?
This is a pause and think on it. Because I want you to actually allow yourself to lightly touch on those specific experiences where you had to pull yourself through something that you now know is accessible, which means there's going to be some emotion there. Feel it, whatever it is. It might just feel tight. It might not actually feel like an emotion. Oh, what did it cost you to solve? What did it cost you to solve that problem for yourself?
When we apply this to a business context, this is the magic underneath the work that you do. That is that special ability that you have, your X factor, some people call it, that allows you to see the nuance of the problem because you have a deep, intimate understanding of it. Every business problem, every personal problem has like an underlying piece to it. An example, especially related to you, Thea, is like when you're doing the work of helping someone figure out their messaging. Like there are multiple needs that you're filling within that work. One of them is the need to be seen, and which also brings up like the fear of visibility. And so like understanding how to help somebody feel seen within their true gift, that is an ability that you have because you know how to fill it for yourself. And sometimes what happens here is that you don't know that you know how to fill that need, or you don't know that's why that's there. And that's okay too. Part of this process is to wake some of that up and realize that there's a deeper root to how you are with people, how you are in your business, or how you are in relationships.
This is the moment where actually give yourself a moment to be like, what was that cost?
Yeah.
What did it cost you? For example, my example, what it cost is my pride that I had to make the first step in order for connection to happen. I resented people. I had so much resentment. What did it cost me? It costed me my love of people for a really long time. What did it cost me? I could not fathom being in a relationship with my husband in an intimate way.
Yeah. And the tie-in there for you, Dia, or what did it cost you to solve it? And I know this because we've talked about it. What does it cost for me to be able to help somebody with their message and their visibility? Often it's cost my own willingness to be seen, my own willingness to be visible. Well, and feeling so I have that gift and ability, I want it for myself. There are things that are in the way of me giving it to myself, so I'll give it to other people. And the cost is the fact that I don't get it for me.
And the reason why we keep talking about it is the cost doesn't go away when you solved it the first time. It is a cost that we forget when we are helping fill the need for someone else. There's a real cost in it. And so when we are very attuned to exactly what it is that we're doing and what is that cost, we are able to actually truly understand what will dysregulate ourselves when we are in the process of doing the thing of actually giving the gift of ourselves. Whether that's a business context or whether that's literally just in human life context. Power of herself. Yeah. Yes. So what did it cost Brandy? Brandy has had lived experiences where she had a lived experiencing of having zero power over themselves, which means every single time she helps someone else truly have power within themselves, it will feel like Brandy's power is going down. There's the cost. In the future, your body remembers that time. It's because you had a lived experience and your mind doesn't stay in this moment. As soon as your body is reminded of that cost, which is happening every time you're giving a gift because it's a giving and receiving act, that is the perfect healing moment opportunity, or it's also going to shut you up from being yourself or stop you from working in your business or whatever. Like I was saying in our story, we had a certified working business. Everything was working and we still sabotaged it because we ignored that there was cost, trying to prove that we could get out of the cost phase.
When you're always trying to prove something to yourself, you'll always be proving something.
Always be proving, which means there will always be something to disapprove of.
Yep. You'll always be constantly trying to overcome something.
Constantly overcoming energy. So that is why we don't want to stay at the cost.
So again, bringing awareness back to your breath. We have the context of what the need is that you can fill, the problem you solve. We understand a little bit about the cost to you. And now, why does it matter to you that you are able to give this gift to other people? Why does it matter that they also solve the problem in their life, that they fill the need?
And I want you to go beyond the easy to say words. Right? It's easy to me to be like, of course, because like it was awful and blah, blah, blah. If your only task today before you died was to answer a need, a single need, what would it be and why? So, as you are wrapping up that final thought or thoughts, I want you to reconnect back to your breath, back to your body. Remember, we are not stagnant beings in time. And if you're anything like me, yes, you're allowed to move your body, even if it doesn't look a certain way. Because all of this is just an experience of what is the wilderness through clearly, rather than just through the eyes of the scaffolding above the trees. So what I'm going to invite you guys to do is sit in the moment of just allow yourself to be. Because this is your story, this is your medicine, what these questions are going to start producing is your medicine. So take a moment, and when you feel ready, take a moment, just pause and think these words for a moment.
World is brighter than the sun now that you're here. Though your eyes will need some time to adjust to the overwhelming light surrounding us.
For those that want my playlist, don't worry, I have the link. I will share that later. Truly, if you don't remember anything else, what it really means to reclaim your life is just a remembering that you are actually the light. You are the light walking in life, and sometimes you are the only light that someone else sees. It's called Light by Sleeping at Last. Anyway, so with all of this, I just want to soak in that you guys are here. I know for those that are watching the replay, you're like, I'm not really here. I'm still soaking it in because I will also be soaking it in with each interaction as I send you guys these replays. So we don't just want to leave it there. For the sake of time, but also to give you guys an opportunity to really pour your heart and soul into this, I want you to take this and actually write it up and message us with what is your story. This is your story, the story, the medicine, and one way you would like to share your need, whether it's business or otherwise. And I'm telling you right now, we will actually respond and we will actually do our best to help. What you've all been experiencing, learning, doing interactively, that's the beginning of different things that can happen. Deep breath is the full container.
That's the program.
That's the actual program that we run that allows, I say program, but really, like I said, my value is a container where people can be seen and heard. Cam is more of this is logistics and all of the things. I'm just like, hey, what do you need? Can I fill it? No? Okay, where we can resource that. Yeah, I'm going to give it to Cam, but before that, I wanted to make sure that everyone is like how people are doing. I know some people are in the middle of.
The deep breath is, as Carla said, like this is just, we've touched on the very beginning of this kind of journey of getting out of the wilderness within yourself to be able to fully bring forward all of the gifts that you have and see how they're expressed in your relationships or in your business. All of these things connect deeply back into belief systems that you've had for so long. And what Carla is uniquely gifted at is being able to identify and help bring forward to the light the things that are deep inside of you that you don't even know are there. And then being able to embody that so that your relationship is more connected. You have the ability to communicate and use your voice in ways that maybe you've never experienced. And so what we love to do is we're calling it like the US based cohort informally, or like the Uruguay cohort of deep breath. We're going to do a 6-week cohort starting on May 1st. And it's going to be weekly time with Carla and I, or one or either of us, depending on what it feels like that day
And the need of you guys
and
specifically.
what the container needs. But we bring in some of what we did in terms of story extraction, understanding who you really are and how you can really show up. And we can apply that to business. And obviously that's my realm of things. And then Carla comes in and she does breath work and somatic work to be able to loosen some of those energies that have gotten stuck.
But scaffolding that really could use a hard look to actually see what is draining you and what is life giving. So that not only can you feel like you are breathing life into other people, but you can also receive that breath of life back.
Yep.
So, like extracting the realness of you, breath work, somatic work, yes. But ultimately, this is truly just a container to celebrate you in your life of a truly welcoming group of be yourself, because that's the gift.
Yep.
Yes, we have a bunch of things to help you be yourself, but at the end of the day, consistent connection with random people where you get to just be yourself, like I keep saying, is the number one thing. Plus, Cam agreed to join in, like he was saying, which he did it so like casually. Literally, the highest requested thing is when we join containers into this cohort, right? Like it's literally the most, it adds an extra layer or extra level for those that are ready to finally tell their story. And the dreaded word, if you've had a lot of religious trauma, monetize it.
Yeah. Yes, so beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Brandy and Thea.
Oh, I love that. Oh, yes. So my absolutely favorite way to unpack is, remember those spider brain webs from like when we had to do papers back in the day? Like a brain map,
Mind map.
mind map,
Mm.
brain map,
Yeah,
a mind
the
map.
map to your brain.
Yeah, a mind map to just get all of that onto a page so that you can actually let your physical body see how much is in your mind, because that's part of it. When there is a disconnect from the sheer amount of things happening and coming through with your body, and it's like still overstimulating and intense, that's part of it. I'll say there's some other things you can literally do to help de-escalate that experience.
Yeah. So we're opening up this cohort of deep breath. It's going to be a 6-week container. we typically run deep breath as something that's ongoing, but we're doing it as 6 weeks, and then afterwards just assess what's really needed after that. But we do weekly group coaching calls where you're not allowed to shrink or hide the
stay
light that you've
quiet.
got. Like we intentionally create this container to bring out that in you so you can experience it for yourself.
Or what he means by that is don't come with your scaffolding of I'm not going to shrink. No, there are totally times where someone comes on the call and apologizes because they were literally right in the middle of a fight, but they decided to just like hop on anyway.
Yeah.
And that was the need. We just got to actually help and just be with them in that.
Yep. And that's like the invitations of bring anything, whether it's a relationship or a business, because they're all connected. We spend 95% of our time with our business coaching clients working on the belief system stuff that we've been talking about, working on identity and wilderness and all of that. And then Carla brings in her breath work and her somatic stuff to help your nervous system actually create a landing space for that in your body. So that
On the day to day, because that's the
On the
big
day-to-day.
element that we try to do when we're joining forces, is not just the forward motion, because the scaffolding kept my brain constantly seeing where I should be going.
Yeah.
But it also kept me from seeing that I still had stuff to do to get there. So that kind of discrepancy is what these kind of private communities or private containers are going to try to suss out, is for how can you learn how to build a sustainable life for you, not me, not for the others.
Hmm.
All right.
good.
Ooh.
Hmm. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Oftentimes in our darkest moments, we're the brightest light for someone else and we don't even know it. And two, was it Thea?
And realizing that
Someone's
can
point.
actually become part of the pivot point.
Yeah. So, yes, it is a container. And yes, we have agendas and stuff like that. But all at the end of the day, we are just giving you an invitation to just be who you are and then see how you're the brightest light for
Yep.
other people.
Yep. So yeah, within the container, doing the breath work and the somatic work to help your nervous system create safety in your body. If you're that the thing you're challenged by most is like being visible in your business or speaking your truth in your relationship and having like discussions with your partner that don't end in fights. Like you have to be able to do the belief system work, but then the work to integrate it into your body so that it feels safe. And you can actually create a new reality and a new experience. So we do that. We do the story extraction, the messaging support, where I'm helping you to speak your truth without translating it for everybody else and using the words that are going to resonate with the people that are uniquely meant for you. And then, of course, there's a community. Like
Yep.
there's
like
people
the-
around you to carry
yeah.
on with you.
It's the ultimate be the change you wish to see in the world, but
Yep.
like less cheese, more here's how it looks.
So it's a 6-week container. We're trying to fill at least six spots here. We'd like to keep a smaller, more intimate group, but we'll do up to 10. It's $444 for 6 weeks. I'll put the stuff in the chat there.
And this is an open invitation
Open
too,
invitation.
because like, for example, if you're, wait, can I invite people? Yes. And that, oh, I didn't even think about that. If you wanted to invite people
Great idea.
and doing bundling and stuff, I didn't think about this.
This is like our first mention of the fact that we're doing this publicly. And so there will be much more opportunity. What I wanted to leave with you guys is that there's so many, like in my experience, so many gifted, incredible women, especially. I know it's like everybody, but who are carrying a lot of weight on their own. There's, man, I could go on and on about all the different roles and things that women uniquely are expected to fill in our society. And so we're doing our part to help to, let me put that in there. We're doing
yeah,
our
good.
part to help support those gifts coming out in their fullest expression and strip away some of that societal conditioning, strip away some of that family conditioning. And whether that means that you're starting something new or renewing something old, or you're deciding to move across the world, like there's something that you want to say yes to that you can't quite say yes to yet. Understanding the depths of who you are and the power that you hold is what Teeth Breath is all about. And that's what we're here to do.
So this is for you guys. So it's his actual calendar. So please don't share
That's
it to
mine.
a bunch of people because yeah, we actually want to make sure we are connecting with those that truly could really use connection.
Yep.
So yeah.
That's it, folks. That's all we got.
If of course, if you have any questions,
We're in Messenger.
we're in Messenger. And like Kim was saying, we are holding this open as a cohort for May 1st. However, I am neurospicy. So for me, I'm like, May 1st sounds like really far.
Yeah.
So if,
Not this upcoming Friday, because it's Friday today. It's not next Friday. It's the Friday after.
yeah, meaning like regardless on what you need, if your need is now, still message. We're not going to wait until May 1st to help you. We'll just add some, like, I will figure it out because if you have a need, it's going to, yeah. Anyway. Okay.
So
Mwah.
thank you
Thank you. I just
for
really,
showing up live and or watching the replay.
and also
appreciate you.
being an extra 30 minutes with us.
And that too. All right.
All right.
See everybody later.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.